Here comes a fierce battle between a king cobra and a honey badger.
Yeah, so that title is super divisive. I can already see this thumbnail being made fun of on Airsoft Circle Jerk and also my outfit, which... Shut up. Shut up, shut up, don't ask. So I'll just get to the point. Getting to the point, ARES M4s are super overpriced and share many of the similarities to the comparatively well-priced Lancer Gen 3s. Hence the title. If for some reason you didn't buy a SEMA or a G&G something longest name ever as a good mid-range gun, you're torn hypothetically between an ARES and a Lancer Gen 3. The ARES because it looks cool, and a Lancer Gen 3 because I'm not really sure.
I mean, if you want a honey badger, just buy one of the double eagles. They come with literally everything the ARES does, except they aren't shit, way cheaper, and don't have a proprietary gearbox. And it's a honey badger.
Side tangent over, but what makes ARES really crappy? And how is it beaten and similar to a Lancer Gen 3? Well, let's get into it.
I don't have a Lancer Gen 3. I haven't made two bad mistakes, but I did use one as a rental when I played at Nashville Airsoft. I can say a Lancer and an ARES basically perform the same stock.
The honey badgers have a fairly long body.
So externally, Lancers and ARES get an all-polymer build. All polymer with the exception of metal switches, a buffer tube, and stuff like that. However, ARES is a little bit different because ARES comes stock with a very shitty metal rail. And I say shitty because it has a proprietary attachment system, that's to say not M-Lock or Keymod, and an impossible to remove orange flash hider. This barrel assembly is also completely whack because it doesn't hold onto your barrel well, so it wobbles, and sometimes your BBs get shot and get inside of this suppressor and ricochet around into your gun. The stock on an ARES is also not compatible with buffer tubes. At least if it is, it's very difficult to do so.
You take them both apart like any M4, that's to say, with a hammer. And then they have regular parts AAGs usually do. I replaced my ARES barrel with an Umbrella Armory one. The story is embarrassing, so I won't tell it, but these come with a rotary hop-up with a hop rubber that rips apart faster than your soul, and a barrel I don't remember anything about.
Meanwhile, the poisonous venom is seeping through the honey badger's body, and it passes out. Look at that sleepy fuck.
The ARES comes with a motor so weak and torqueless that I could spin the pinion with my blinking eyelashes. And wait, pause, what's this? A quick change spring system? Why, ARES? Never mind, this is actually a good addition, thank you. Oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. A plastic spring guide? Why? The threads are metal, why not just cast the whole thing as such? As if your gearbox shells couldn't handle a high FPS from the start, now the spring guide will snap if someone looks at it wrong. At least they sell a metal replacement on Airsoft Global with it, whatever the hell that site is. Inside, this gearbox has got special little collars these screws go in so that they don't damage the delicate shell. The gun features some gears with most likely a low ratio since it shoots so fast for such a weak motor, but these can't really be swapped out. This is because the sector gear has a magnet that interfaces with the proprietary MOSFET, so if this magnet isn't here, then no shooty. It is a quirky trigger system. Basically, a spring pulls back on the trigger rather than resting under it like a normal one. This is to make the MOSFET quick detach, I guess. The compression set is mid as well. The piston doesn't sit upright when vertical for some reason, and its teeth I had to file down because it scraped the gear and the cylinder. Although the cylinder is most likely due to poor AOE. The cylinder head has one O-ring, which is upsetting because on their models that feature a goofy all-cylinder head, you're basically stuck with one O-ring and Teflon tape. And finishing that off, you get a nozzle with no O-ring. Cool!
These are $400, by the way.
So why are Lancers similar? Lancers also have a special little MOSFET that interfaces with a proprietary gear set containing a little magnet.
It uses the same magnet in the sector gear, the Hall effect sensor, as the LT Gen 2 Pro Line one.
Lancer, however, is a better choice in this instance because although you have to pay more to upgrade the gears because you also need a new trigger contact with it, you can at least change its parts since the ARES gearbox is specially designed to only take this kind of MOSFET. In addition, the ARES requires a special little box you have to buy aftermarket to program it, whereas the Lancer, just like a Perun IDK, just needs the flip of a switch to program it.
My gun is only locked to using 11-1s because someone on the field programmed it to that while I was playing a game and left my gun on the staging area. Oh my god!
On the topic of the MOSFET, I'm no electrician, so I can't say how many gigashits these take, but I can say that they need to fix their microswitches. This isn't the stock gearbox, this is one that I had to get swapped out because for some reason the Airsoft Atlanta tech said instead of a $45 MOSFET change, because the microswitch broke, I needed to buy a whole nother $100 ARES gearbox. So I did. The problem rises with how long this switch clicker is. It's too short and requires this little contact nub on the trigger to contact it perfectly, or otherwise the switch clicker will fall under the nub and get bent under the trigger, not allowing it to click with the switch and, bend the clicker.
Shoot! Shoot that mother! Okay, let me...
I was able to fix this issue with a small piece of credit card, just gluing it to the switch clicker, and this also allows me to tune the trigger because I can bend the switch clicker and still be able to click it. It's just a cool little hack.
$45 for one of these, not including shipping.
The gearboxes are made of some sort of metal. I'd be able to say what kind of metal it was if they weren't coated with this thick glossy paint. It feels more like it's made of glass than metal. Like I get the impression if I put it under pressure it would shatter instead of bend. I've heard these shells are shit and break under slightly heavy springs, which is a shame. I usually like my BBs going farther than 50 feet. Bye-bye FPS. So what's good about ARES? The gears feel nice, like high quality. They're also really quiet on low power, but I bet that maybe the bushings, which I bet are bearings or something like that. I don't really know. The quick change spring is great, makes disassembly easier, and the lack of a cutoff lever also makes shimming easier because there's no lever to grab onto sector gear shims. But that's all that's really good about them. ARES is just overpriced mid-tier stuff that you'll be stuck with.
So yeah, there are a million different better options than an ARES, even Lancer Tactical. If you like this video, click the buttons down below, you know what to do, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.